welcome. Today's practice is called slow and low, and it's more of a restorative practice to really kind of stretch the entire body. There's some dynamic movement along with some static longer holds. All right, so if you have a couple blocks, grab them. If not, that's totally fine. If you have a pillow, you might grab that for this opening posture. Let me get you set up in the first posture. If you have the two blocks, this is called heart bridge in the yin practice. And you're gonna have one block the long way below your shoulder blades. Okay, so I'm gonna set that up. You might have to scooch around a little bit. Find that nice flat spot. And then the second block is to support your head. Now your legs can be in Shavasana, right? Or they could be in Supta Baddha, the knees apart, feet together, or collapsed knees, feet apart. I kind of like the collapsed knees version. Your arms are out to the sides. So I'll give you a minute to come into this first posture. And I'm going to read you a little quote from Gabrielle Harris, who wrote this incredible, actually a couple incredible books, but this is called The Language of Yin. And there is a blessing for yourself, and I'd like to start with that. So once you find your way to that heart bridge position, close your eyes and start to consciously breathe, creating an inhale that's the same amount of time as your exhale. So if you have a 5-count inhale, follow that by a 5-count exhale. So I'll let you get started on that breath for a moment, and then we'll do the blessing. Before you begin your practice, bless yourself. Bless all of your past, your mistakes, your triumphs, all the decisions you have made to get to this point. Bless the times that you fell to your knees and the times you rose above yourself. Bless all of your present. Bless this moment pregnant with possibility, hope, and openness. Bless yourself for showing up here to practice, to learn, to grow, and evolve. Bless yourself for trying no matter what the circumstances are. You're doing your best. Bless your courage, your strength. Bless all the future, the lands and experiences that lay before you, the relationships that you are yet to have. Bless all of the outcomes, all of the obstacles, and choices you make today, knowing that you are being guided and looked after. Bless all the parts of yourself, all the sweetness, all the struggles. Bless yourself for being you. So take 3 more breaths in this opening pose. Finishing up this next exhale, I'll have you roll off your blocks or your pillow. Come to a position on your back, on the mat, with your knees into your chest. This is called Apanasana. So bringing the knees into your chest, right hand on right shin, left on left shin, and kind of roll out through the hips a little bit, roll your ankles, little massage on the lower back. Then hugging both knees into your chest. Extend your right leg straight up your imaginary wall. And again, you can keep the knee bent. Maybe grab the back of the calf, pull towards you, or maybe grab your hamstring. And you can massage your hamstring as you roll out your ankle. So just trying to find a little space in the hamstring. And then flexing the toes towards your nose. Bring both hands onto your left shin and lower the right leg down to the mat. From here, draw some circles with the left knee around around your hip socket. That was weird. Big circles. Sometimes just words fly out of my mouth. So big circles. And then hug the thigh bone on the outside of your ribs. Okay, both hands on your knee, both feet flexed. Big squeeze. Inhale. And then using your right hand, draw the left knee up and over into that supine twist. You can maybe even lift the right hip under a little bit and cactus the left arm. The gaze is towards your left hand. And when you first come into this, there's so much resistance. So just breathe. Trying to find a little more space. I call the area that has that intensity, the sensation line. So breathe into that area. And we're going to stay here for about 5 more breaths. Next inhale, bring your left knee first, come back to center. And we're going to come into half dead bug. So keep your right leg down. You're going to grab the inside of your left foot in this half dead bug position. Left thigh bone on the outside of the ribs. Bringing your right hand to your right hip just to steady it and keep it nice and still. A few breaths here. From here, you can kind of start to bend and straighten the left leg. If it doesn't go very far, that's fine. You can grab the inside of your foot or your big toes with your peace fingers if that feels better. But we're just starting to warm the hamstring. And back to that half dead bug. And then release, bringing both knees once again into that starting point into Panasana. Roll around on the lower back. This time extend the left leg straight up. You can grab the back of the left calf, hamstring. Massage the hamstring if it's tight. And when you're ready, with both feet flexed, slowly lower the left leg to the mat. Bringing both hands to your right shin, circle around the right hip socket. And then hugging the right thigh bone on the outside of the ribs. So the feet are really active, so the muscles in the legs are engaged, but big squeeze. Right thigh bone on the outside of the ribs. Inhale. Then using the left hand, maybe scooch the left hip under, cactus or goalpost the right arm, and gazing towards the right hand. If you are like me, this side is more flexible than the other side. So the sides of your bodies are things that you don't really think about in this matter. Like if your hamstring, if one is tighter than the other, you usually know. But this is one that might be surprising if you haven't practiced a lot of yoga. The sides of your body can be very different. All right, so focus your breath along the sensation line. About 5 more breaths. Letting go of that resistance. center with that right knee. Coming into half dead bug. Right thigh bones on the outside of the ribs. Deepen your breath. I always say this, but whenever you get uncomfortable, that's when your breath disappears. So find your breath, especially when you get uncomfortable. From here, you can bend and straighten the right leg. Again, you can keep it doesn't have to be all the way straight. Just finding a little movement along those hamstring muscles. And then releasing both knees into your chest. Roll out your ankles. Send both legs up your imaginary wall. And you can grab the backs of the legs or the hamstrings. Grab beneath the knees. And let's just come up and roll over your toes. We're going to come into a tabletop. Coming into Chakravakasana. So to do this exercise, knees together, hands wide. Drop your head and tuck your toes under and movement side to side. So depending, hopefully that opening supine twist got a little bit into the side body, so this should feel pretty good. Side to side, and then maybe sweep it back to your heels. Big circles, one of my favorite warm-up poses. You can always stop and spend a little extra time in postures that are a little bit tight or sore today. And then let's meet with the hips pressing towards the heels with the toes tucked. All right, so maybe you can come down, forehead to the floor, pushing the floor away, pressing into the big toes. Curling it back up, lift up your feet. You can point and flex your toes. We're going to come into an aligned tabletop for some cats and cows now. So hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are under your hip bones. All right, nice neutral spine to start. As you inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart. As you exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, round. Inhale to open up. Exhale to round. One more inhale. And exhale. Awesome. Coming to a neutral spine. I'm actually going to turn towards you so you can see me. But I'm still in that tabletop shape. Extend your right leg out to the side. So your right toes in line with your left knee. Your shoulders and wrists are in line. From here, as you inhale, press forward so your shoulders come past your wrists. And as you exhale, drop back. All right. Inhale, pull the heart forward. Exhale. So you're only lowering here is to a point where your knee feels okay. We're going to do this 3 times. Inhale. And then on the last one, so if you're up higher, that's fine. If you can sit on that left heel. Curl your right toes inward and reach forward. Resting your head either on your mat or a block. About 5 breaths here. press back into your hands, come up onto that left knee. Let's walk it back. As you inhale, come up. Now make sure the left side of your body is in one line. All right, we're going to come to a modified side plank here. Left hand down, right hand up over your ear. Slide the right shoulder into its socket. Spin the ribs towards the sky. Really lengthen from right toes to right fingertips. As you inhale, reach up through the right fingertips, up through the left. Bring your right hand either to your thigh or your shin, up and over, arcing. And again, the shoulder's still in its socket, lengthening, finding space between the left hip and the left lower ribs. Inhale back up. Bring your hands down. You have to move forward for this one. Lift your right leg up, and you're going to sweep your right leg up and back. So I'm going to do it this way. All right, so we lift up the right leg all the way over. You're going to stay on your toes. Press into your toes, slide it back, reaching the arms towards the front of your space. So there's a little compression through the left side. Right leg's really active. You're reaching your fingertips forward. Few breaths here. All right, we're going to come up to tabletop arms and swing the right leg behind us. Bring the right leg behind, navel to spine. Bring your right knee behind your left, nice and tight. And then fan out the feet. We're going to come to cow face here. Flex the toes a little bit, start to walk it back. All right, so maybe your hips and knees want to stop here, and that's totally fine. Working eventually to be seated between the heels. From here, find a little bit of space. And you can hinge forward, pressing the hips towards the floor, lifting through your chest. Got 5 more breaths here. Really getting the hips a little bit open. So you should feel a nice little tug on both sides of your hips. No pain in the knee joints. If you're feeling pain in the knee joints, don't sit all the way between the heels. All right, let's come back. Come back into that aligned tabletop. And again, I'm going to face you. We're going to do the left side. Left leg extended, left toes in line with your right knee. Shoulders over your wrists. As you inhale, come forward, open your heart. As you exhale, slide back, hip towards your right heel, right hip, right heel. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. All the way back. Again, be nice to your right knee. Stay up a little higher if your knee requires you to do so. And 5 breaths. Next inhale brings you back up. And walk the hands back. Trying to keep again the right side in one line. Inhale the arms up. Bring the right fingertips or hands to the floor. Again in line with your right knee. Left arm up and over. Spin towards the sky. So really lengthening the whole side body. One of my favorite side body stretches. All right, let's come back up. Stand on that right knee. Inhale. Bring the left hand down or onto the thigh and arc over again, integrating the shoulder into the socket. The space, that intensity line is the right hip and the right lower ribs. Inhale, come on up. And again, I'm gonna turn to the side here so you can see this. So when you come back down to your hands, lift your left leg, and then you're gonna swing it up and around as far as you can, pressing into your toes, sliding back, reaching the hands towards either the front or, in my case, it's the back of my mat. Find your breath, just 3 more. Staying up higher if you need to for your right knee. All right, as we come back up to tabletop, hands, left leg straight back, left knee behind right, nice and tight, fan out the feet, and start to walk it back. There's a little flex in your feet. You can stay up high right here. You could even put a block underneath your tailbone. Bringing it up, lengthening, and then hinging forward. Three more breaths. All right, come back up into your tabletop. Swinging around all over this mat. Come back up into your tabletop, and we're going to come into downward facing dog. So spreading your hands, trying to create that thumb and index finger in that L shape. Send your hips high. Don't worry about bringing the heels to the mat. Find more extension in the spine here. If it feels good, you can move around through the hips and shoulders. Then go ahead and walk your feet to the top of the mat, nice and slow. We're going to come into ragdoll, but let's do so really gradually today. So bringing your feet a little bit wider than your about as wide as your mat. Bend your knees, bring your arms to your thigh bones, and then fall around on your foot. So from inside to outside, toes to heels, and then root down, spread your fingers. Try to do so evenly throughout the bottom of your foot. Bring your hands to the mat, drop your head, and then just pause there, really sending your tailbone to the sky, right? Trying to get rid of this rounding, and you might need to bend your knees even more. You can move through the hips here. Again, let the head fall heavy. Staying there. And if you want, you can always put a block there too. Sometimes this can be a really tough pose. Or you can grab opposite elbows. And just really let gravity win here. We're always fighting against it. Let it win here. Sometimes it feels good to sway. For me right now, it just feels good just to hang and kind of just let everything go. Every time you come to the mat, it's going to feel a little different. You can make little adjustments. Just being aware of where you are. All right, then go ahead and bring your hands to the mat. Bring your feet together. And slowly, with the knees bent, roll it up. One vertebra at a time. Bringing the shoulders back, bringing the palms forward, trying to create that nice posture, right? Earlobes are over your shoulders, shoulders are over your hips. Inhale, mountain, sweep the arms up. A little back bend here, just cactus the arms. Inhale up. As you exhale, bend the knees, swan dive, forward fold. Fingertips to the shins, inhale halfway. Plant your hands, step back into a plank position. Hinge onto your toes and slowly roll down. We're going to do some cobras. So let's keep the hands under the shoulders. Point the toes with the toenails staying down. As you inhale, push into the mat. Draw the shoulders back. You're going to come up to a point that feels okay. All right? You don't want to come up this high if it bugs your lower back. Lower down. Let's add the breath to this and flow with the breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Shoulders back and down. Exhale, lower. Last one here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Cross the hands in front of you. Rest your head on your hands and move your hips a little bit side to side. And then come to stillness. Holding this position, slide your left knee up towards your left armpit. And then energetically press the left hip down. We're going to move into a prone shoulder stretch here. So I'm going to have you bring your right hand, if you have a rectangular mat, mine is round, you're going to bring your right arm out to the side so your arm is parallel to the very top of your mat, right? Bring your right cheek to the mat and bring your left hand under your shoulder. On an inhale, you're going to push into the mat with your left hand. Bring your right foot up and over. It can be bent or it can be straight, okay? You can move around a little bit, and I do want you to move your head around just to make sure your neck is not strained. And we'll stay here with the left arm down for a moment. You can continue to make adjustments, moving the right fingers a little bit more out so you get a little more space along the right shoulder. This is a great posture to work on rounded shoulders, right? Pressing that shoulder back. So many things that we do encourage shoulders to round forward, weight to come forward. All right, so you can stay here if you want. This is a big twist. If you want to add the left shoulder, bring the left arm to the sky, flip the hand so the back of the hand is away from you. And you're going to tuck the left hand behind your back or underneath your right hip. And again, you can move your head to try to get your neck comfortable. And fire up the breath. Release the left arm, maybe reach one more time behind you. And let's come back around to the center. Bring the hands in front of your forehead again. Rest your head. Move your hips from side to side. Dragging your right knee up towards your right armpit. Pressing energetically your right hip towards the floor. Extend the left arm out, parallel to the top of the mat. Left cheek to the mat, right hand by your right shoulder. Inhale. Push into the right hand, come up and over. You can keep the right knee bent or straight. Make any adjustments to that left shoulder. And we'll pause here with the right hand, the right arm down. And then if you did so on the other side, we're going to reach the right arm up. Back the hand, small of the back, or tuck in underneath the left hip. Adjust your head. Find your breath. Three more breaths. Releasing the right arm, maybe one more reach. And then come back to center. This time keep your knees bent. Rest your head on your shoulders, and you can kind of windshield wiper. And relaxing the feet behind you. Rest your head. So this is prone Shavasana. If you would rather flip onto your back, do so. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you here for this short practice. Take your time there. Thanks so much for practicing with me. Check out the descriptions for some other classes that I offer, as well as full-length vinyasa classes, restorative, and yoga sculpt classes, and also teacher trainings. Thanks so much. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.